right, Britt Clennett, thank you so much. Now to Britain and the public appearances by Princess Kate this weekend following her cancer treatment. ABC's Inez de la Cantara is in London with the very latest. Good morning to you, Inez. A lot of people were excited to see her.
Good morning, Janae. Yeah, and it is a somber day today, but the Princess of Wales is looking very well. Her fans thrilled to see her back on duty. Princess Kate back in the spotlight, joining her husband Prince William and father-in-law King Charles for Remembrance Sunday this morning. The royals out in force to honor the UK's fallen soldiers. Noticeably absent Queen Camilla, who is recovering from a chest infection. Kate looking somber this morning as she watched the wreath-laying ceremony, a key event on the royal calendar. The princess also taking center stage last night. 2 appearances in 1 weekend marks a significant return to royal duties for Kate, who has been keeping a very low profile since she shocked the world with her cancer diagnosis back in March.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present.
She joined the rest of the royals at the Festival of Remembrance, another event to honor the British military. The family's connection to the military runs deep. King Charles, who has also been undergoing treatment for cancer, is head of the UK's armed forces. Kate is herself an honorary colonel of the Irish Guards. And while we have seen Kate twice this weekend, the palace is saying the princess is prioritizing her health and will only gradually return to work.
I think we'll see her appear at key moments throughout the next few months, but I don't think that we're going to see as many engagements on a weekly basis as we were seeing prior to her becoming unwell. I think her return is going to continue to be gradual.
So we don't exactly know when we'll be seeing the princess next, but these appearances have everyone hopeful she will be back doing her special Christmas Carol service later this year. Guys.
All right, Inez, thank you so much. We turn now to cold and flu season heading right for us as the holidays approach. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton joins us now with What to Watch. Dr. Darian, good morning. Great to see you as always. So we're getting an update now on cold and flu season from the CDC. What's the latest?
So we're following these numbers. We're following wastewater analysis, emergency room visits. Overall, thankfully, numbers remain low. We're seeing subtle increases in states like Wisconsin, Ohio, Kentucky, and Connecticut. And by increases, I mean respiratory illnesses, patients coming in with cough, sinus pressure, and flu-like symptoms. As for RSV, we're also seeing subtle increases in the South and Southeast among kids. This is just a good reminder right now that while we have numbers that are low, to go out and get your vaccines updated, especially as we march into the holiday period when we'll be seeing family members who are more vulnerable, older and younger, to better protect them.
Okay, so 2 questions here. Is it too late to get a flu vaccine?
Yeah.
And how effective, do we know how effective this current one is for this flu?
So every flu vaccine is matched up with what is most expected during the flu season. And as far as effectiveness, they're about 60 to 70% effectiveness at the best. And that's what we would typically expect. Typically expect. As for is it too late? Absolutely not. Right now, numbers are still low, so it's a great time to go out and get that vaccine. Vaccines take about 2 weeks to become fully effective, which is why I think if you get it now, you're prepared for Thanksgiving.
Okay, so that's good to know. I have a question because we want to talk about what the FDA is saying about cold medicines, but also lots of parts of the country have seen these switches in weather where it's been really warm and then it gets cooler.
Yeah.
What is there a real impact in that? Do you see people getting more sick?
And that's the old saying, right? Our parents, our grandparents are like, don't get out in the cold. That'll increase your risk. And there is some truth to that. When you're outside in the cold, your respiratory lining is not protected as well, which makes you more susceptible to infection. And so it's not necessarily that the cold brings the illness, but it brings the risk. So as far as your second question, for phenylephrine, which is what we're talking about, the changes in cold and congestion medication in the over-the-counter aisle, this comes after an FDA proposal to remove that active ingredient in this cough medicine. This comes after a lot of review and evidence and data that looks at all the current data, and it found that it simply wasn't effective. So this is a proposal. We'll have to wait for a process, but it begs the reminder that I always talk to patients about. Be mindful of your money when you're walking into those over-the-counter aisles. A lot of those products can look really hopeful and helpful, but they don't change your outcome.
It's still everywhere. everywhere, by the way.
It is,
You walk
it
into a
is.
drugstore, it's still in all of these products.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not safe.
Yeah.
It's just
This is not a
effective.
question of safety, but I think going back to the tried and tested measures, cold compresses, steam inhalation, nasal irrigation, or neti pots, these are the basic things that can help with your congestion that'll probably prove you better than what's in the over-the-counter aisle.
Important conversation that obviously you guys had questions about.
Time of year.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you so much, Dr.
course.
Sutton. All right, well, this morning we remember Judith Jamison, the acclaimed dancer, choreographer, and former artistic director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Jamison died Saturday after a brief illness in New York, surrounded by close friends. She joined the company back in 1965 at a time when black dancers were rare. After Alvin Ailey's death in 1989, Jamison became artistic director and held the role until her retirement in 2011. She lived by Ailey's mission to educate, entertain, and uplift. Judith Jamison was 81. She certainly will be missed.
Wow, and yeah, the Ailey Dance Center does such amazing work here in New York City.
Yes.
Incredible.
Now to women's college basketball. The season underway with its first weekend games. ABC's Morgan Norwood is here with more. Morgan, good morning to you. I know you're excited.
Yeah, that's right. You know, many of us are still on a high from last season when we had Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Of course, they've gone pro at this point, but don't worry. There's still plenty of star power and excitement left in women's college basketball, and today's lineup proves it.
How will she go for history?
After a record-smashing season,